Welcome. This is Allastrology. Today is January 9th, 2020, and this is an episode. It's actually going to be a free reading, a free subscriber reading, which you give out to those that are awesome, that contribute to the channel, that help us so that we can help you. So if you stay tuned and watch this whole thing, you're going to find out exactly how you can achieve one of those freebies. In the meantime, I'm lighting the sacred sage and setting the space, and I'm going to plug in my microphone because I just realized I'm not even ready to go and hooked up, and that's kind of insane, but it'll just have to be okay. We're kind of just rolling with it today. Pardon all craziness. Hopefully that sounds a little bit better. We're in fascinating times. Everybody knows the big eclipse is tomorrow. It is at 20 degrees Cancer. There's a bunch of videos that were just released on the channel that you can, I'm literally smoking myself out right now, that you can search out, or I'll attach some of those links below in the comments. That way you don't have to search very hard. We take care of each other that way. So bottom line though, I'm really kind of fascinated about Uranus. I know I talked about Uranus in some of the other videos. Uranus is surprises and shakeups. It's a shocking energy. It doesn't like to sit still. It likes for things to be fresh. It's where there's this water that's sitting stagnant, and all of a sudden this big wave comes by, and shit starts turning over. You get discombobulated, or whatever that word is, and you don't know sometimes where you are or what direction you should head in. Like you can't find the feet under your ground. That is the whole point of Uranus. It literally comes through and destabilizes things. Now, what's fascinating, and if you pay attention to things, words that I use the words fascinating and interesting to try to give us a perspective of optimism where there's uncertainty and maybe not so positive stuff happening. So we have Uranus, which gives us a destabling factor, and this eclipse tomorrow is all about that with our emotional world, with our emotional stability. The eclipse promises to shake things up because the purpose is emotional growth with this eclipse. So in the videos I'll have down there for each sign explaining exactly where this happens in your house, meaning where it happens in your life and what to expect, what that's going to look like. So for those who have like matching 20 degrees, you already know about it, because usually when a degree is exact with an event, an eclipse, or a planetary lining up, conjunction type of thing, you will know in advance because you're most sensitive to it, meaning it happens to you before it happens to the rest of us. You get the event sooner. Remember, eclipse points are buttons, energy points, they're buttons. They're literally reset switches. So if we're not where we're supposed to be in our emotional growth, the whole point of this eclipse is to kind of, every time a planet comes by, to press that button and something will happen, and it'll be like, okay, I have to kind of really learn how to coach myself emotionally through something. It's kind of the whole point, is growth, raising consciousness, raising our awareness. Now, I don't want to wait much longer to talk about the exterior events that are happening worldwide so much, because of the fact I've just released, like I said, a few videos talking all about that. But here at Allastrology, the whole goal is for you to see that this shit is legit, that the energy that we receive from the stars, from the planets, that those emanations coming through, we really are being impressed with them. But because of history, and because we had these ancient scholars who were able to track, and they gauged, and they observed, and they wrote stuff down, and they left knowledge, esoteric knowledge, which is not so esoteric anymore. And that is the whole goal. That is the Aquarian age, where man finally is in a place where he's ready to receive the teachings, the esoteric knowledge, and understand it and grasp it. Man is now able to wrap their mind around the stuff. So this is what this is all about. So when you see somebody getting a reading and you listen to it and you're like, oh my God, like this person is giving them dates. They're saying this about their love life. They're saying this is going to happen, or they're saying that they just recently experienced this, or this happened when you were a child, or this is some past life stuff. And the person who's the native, the person whose chart is being read, they know. It either deeply resonates with them or it doesn't. And typically, if it doesn't, the only reason it wouldn't, I have found, it's not to make you believe something that I don't believe in, or to make you, believe what I believe in. it's by observation and by treating it as a scientific experiment, I found there's validity here. I just made observations in my own life, how I was feeling, how I was thinking, and tracking the planetary movements. When you do that, you will discover more knowledge than you will ever attain by reading any book, by listening to any speaker, by watching any channel or any show. Know thyself. This is what the ancients constantly, that was the teaching. What they then left behind was that you literally learn this through the stars, the planets, the emanations, the beautiful divine rays that we receive. And that's what this is. Astrology is an explication of cosmic energies, cosmic frequencies. An explication. It's an unraveling of all of that and more. Let me go ahead, now that I've rambled on for a little bit. And today, this is another Leo rising, Leo ascendant reading. I know I have a lot of Leos out there. I heard from one in particular, a sweetheart, a true sweetheart, been very patient. You are not forgotten. This is not you. However, if you've been listening, you understand that matching ascendants can be pretty darn accurate, because if you talk to Leos, they've all been saying the same thing. I was out of work, now I got work. I had a job, but I got a better job. I had a job, I got a promotion at the job. Lots of beneficial stuff has been occurring for them. Now, for this particular person who is a Leo ascendant, Leo rising, what I want to point out for those of you that are listening to this reading, find out what your sun and your moon signs are, okay? Your ascendant is Leo. Now, the ascendant is your physical body. This is how I'm able to look and match your rising up. I'm able to see the locations of other things in your houses, all right? And that has to do with dates. It has to do with the planetary degrees. And that is how we're able to actually use predicative techniques, meaning here's a date and this is what's going to occur, because this is the energy that's available that day. You have free will. All right, we all have free will. So how you use it, how it finally expresses from you is special and unique to you. What I present here, what I read, what I feel, what I hear is simply, this is the energy, these are the frequencies that are going to be available. It is for yours to do with as you wish. Your moon is all about your home. Whenever you see your moon sign, whenever you hear about the moon, it's your home. It can be your physical home, but typically, if we're talking about your moon sign and it's about this reading, like I'm going to do right now, like this person, their moon is in Sagittarius. So they're a Leo ascendant. They got a fiery ass moon. It's in Sagittarius, so it's extremely optimistic. Okay? This is their inner emotional world. This is their emotional security. And yours as well. The moon represents your emotional security. For them, it's expansive because it's ruled by Jupiter. It's in Sagittarius. Now, if we look at this person's sun sign, they are a Virgo sun sign. Virgos are extremely practical, analytical. They love looking at the details of things, asking questions, learning, expressed in an extreme way. They can be critical, a lot of times very self-critical. But for this individual, for a Virgo, Virgos are also have to do with health and are healers. Whether they're aware of it or not, they have that ability. Your being very in tune with your physical body and understanding this is what I need for the best health. It's our physical health is the Virgo. Looking at your sun sign, you understand, well, that's how I express. That's how I shine. That's where I receive my vitality. So anytime there's a reading going on, like this is for a Leo ascendant, you could say to yourself, well, if this is a Leo ascendant, I know I'm not a Leo ascendant. However, I know I'm a Leo moon. So then what I'll be talking about prediction-wise for this person, apply it to your emotional world, your emotional security. Apply it to your inner peace, your sacred space, your inner world, your inner home, okay? Talking about the sun sign, you could say, well, I'm not a Leo moon, but I'm a Leo sun. This would be talking about your ways of expressing yourself, your vitality, where you shine. That's Leo. It's heart energy. It's, it's art. It's creativity, which again is sexuality. These are all fifth house themes, right? Leo rules the fifth house. The sun rules the fifth house. Remember, these are all connected items. But if you are a Leo sun, right, you're fun. You like to laugh. So you could listen to these predictions and apply it to that, to your sun. Okay, so with that said, let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to the days of our lives, the days of this native's life. This is a hot and juicy reading, by the way. I'm going to be honest with you. This reading is all about love and lust and passion and desire, heartbreak. This is actually an exciting reading. So the birth time, how about we start with the birth date? All right, I can do that. September 4th, 2003. Birth time, 4:23 a.m. This is in India. I'm really not the best with the pronunciations. Anklesvar, I'm going to spell it, Anklesvar. All right, you know who you are. You submitted your birth information, so let's get to the goods. Okay, so recently you had some disappointment. A New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, could even have been a couple days before. There would have been areas of your life, especially in groups like friendship circles, social circles. Love could have been intermingled into this, where there were disappointments. So whether that was plans fell through, I'm not exactly positive, but there were times where you felt, oh my gosh, I'm let down. Again, here's something I need to explain about the energy. You have a reoccurring theme in your life because of the energy you came in with. You have the ability, you seek out very deep relationships, but you definitely are the seeker of this. You're a seeker of fun because your moon and your Pluto are on top of each other. Pluto is power, Pluto is intense, Pluto is deep. The moon is my emotional satisfaction. Well, yours go hand in hand. They are all about having a good time. Children is involved in this, but entertainment, fun, laughter, party, creativity, procreation could be involved in this as well for you. Everyone expresses differently, but you're the ultimate seeker in that realm. So you can be pretty, when you want something in those areas, romance, dating, you go for it, but you're not looking for surfacey kind of stuff. You really do look for a deep, intimate connection. Now, with that comes, there is a point where people you have either been with, and if you have children, like what was your birth? Oh, you're a total young one. Did I say 2003? Yeah, you're pretty darn young. So here's something you might want to know. This will help you going into the future if you don't know this about yourself already, because I don't make assumptions. Pluto, by the way, is our soul also, folks. Keep that in mind. That's important because ultimately every lifetime, the whole point of that entire lifetime is to do your soul's work. Okay? So this is important. And having Pluto and the moon together means your soul was like, okay, we really got to give a good, honest try at this, and having the moon attached to it means it will help you to seek this out because it'll be satisfying. It'll be emotionally satisfying. It somehow will give you an emotional sense of security, which would be extremely important to you. So I could see you being a person where dating would be a big deal, but you might not necessarily be that kind of like you might be super flirtatious, right? And you might appear to others being this really fun and flirtatious, and but when it comes down actually doing the dating, I'm not saying there's hesitation, but I do see where there's a part of it that is there, a tension comes up. There's tension, and that's not by coincidence. And it will always be that way, okay? But it seems like that there's something about that that's changing for you, actually. There's something that's going to be taking a turn. They're going to be coming upon new knowledge, and that will be here in 2020. And I'm going to go into more details about that further at the end of the reading. I'm going to kind of end it off there with a bang. So you're such a youngster, and I just want you to know how honored I am, honestly, when a person of your age, seeks out advice and counsel from an old fart like me. you know, the young ones. It is my belief, and I've always had these visions, the children shall lead. And I hear it over and over when I dream. It's like all I see, I would have these super in-depth, detailed dreams of children leading us. It's fascinating because I think back on and I can remember these dreams. They were so crystal clear. And I think about what's going on in our world right now. And especially the fires, because that's really what I saw in the dream was lots of fire. And it's, I'm so silly because these dreams are so long ago. They weren't recent. But sometimes when they're really old like that, it's like, you live. You kind of have new experiences and you're like, okay, whatever, And if it doesn't come to fruition within a few days, right? We're so, we've become like this attention deficit society. If it's not now, well, then it's yesterday already, damn it. Who cares? But now I'm thinking about this and it's like, oh my God, okay, because that's exactly what's happening. We need the children to step up. And so someone your age seeking counsel from someone like me, it's like they have ears. They know there's truth. They know there's wisdom out there, regardless of how it looks and whatever package it comes in. So anyway, I thank you, and I bow my head to you and to your generation. Now let me stop talking and get on with the reading. So anyway, you were born where there is this tension, this friction, this stress when it's going to come to the communication part and literally going out and doing that, although you have this deep desire for this. At the same time, there's a part of it that just bothers you and almost feels draining. And I could see that because your sun squares all of this exactly. Well, almost exactly. Your sun and your moon, yeah. But your Venus squares it all. So it's like, oh God. It's a love-hate relationship is what it is. It's a love-hate relationship because it satisfies your moon, but your Venus, which is what I love, it squares it. It squares it. Your moon squares your Venus. And so you're probably like, what's wrong with me? You know what I mean? Like I want this, but then I hate it, And so you're not crazy. Just coach yourself through this stuff. By the way, this is the second time I'm doing your reading. The first time, it was super in-depth. Whether it was the right reading for you at the time, I'm assuming it wasn't because for me, I can do a reading and they just disappear. And when they disappear, I'm like, okay, fine, great. I'll do it again. So I go and I do it again. And there are things I'm talking about that I didn't talk about the first time. So I am assuming that this is exactly what you're going to need to hear, the things that I'm about to unfold, because I actually did pull up some other stuff. I like to always refresh. So what I value, what's important to me, what I love, gets squared off with your moon. Your moon is in conflict with that, okay? It's in conflict with your Pluto, with your soul's work, which explains why the moon is there. Because if we think about our experiences and our soul's work as a whole in a lifetime, it is simply put to experience. The soul does not view it. The universe does not view any experience as wrong. It's a matter of we came to experience because that is how we grow. It's how we evolve. This astrology is evolutionary. It's nothing more than that, a process that we get to view, that we get to experience. I apologize. I have to change my way of sitting. I want you to just kind of keep that in mind, that that's what this is, that's what's going on, and accept this about yourself. Accept there is this love-hate relationship, and you're really young. So what's going to happen is that as time moves on, think of yourself as that stone in the water, and you know what stones look like? Some of them are really smoothed out. Well, the ones that are nice and smooth, they've been worn by water, all right? But when we're young, we're the stones that have the angular edges, okay? But what happens is over time, life is the water that smooths out those edges. And this is how this will work for you. Now, that's not for you to be disappointed, but it's just so that you can accept the process and try not to be so much at war with it. Now, you had recent disappointments. I already talked about that on New Year's. Could have been, like I said, in your social circles, friends, but these probably would have been people pretty darn close to you because they're in your 7th house. Some of them might have been people that you work with. One of them might have been a love interest or is a love interest. What you should also know about your chart in general is that you're really similar to me because we have Neptune right on our descendant. Neptune is very super idealistic. It's beautiful. It's extremely spiritual. So when Neptune expresses love, all right, because having it on your descendant means, okay, this is what I look for in a partner. Or I should say, this is how I view my ideal partner. Typically having Neptune there means that our ideal partner is so idealistic, so dreamy, Neptune rules dreams, so dreamy that that's exactly what it is, a fantasy. And that's not to say that you're an unrealistic being, okay? And I can talk to you about this because this is me too, all right? I get it, I really do. We put people up on a pedestal, we get into a relationship, and we know what we can give. We understand we can like go full throttle, give 110%, dive in deep. Not everybody can do that. And then what happens is when that doesn't get returned to us, we are truly disappointed. We are upset. We feel as though it is somehow a reflection upon that person's love for us, when in reality, that is not it. Neptune's job there at that point is to make you to see clearly. That's its job. Neptune is the rose-colored glasses. It's literally to show you that you're just simply not observing people clearly for who they are in the beginning of the relationship. There are things you're telling yourself, likely subconsciously, about those people where you're somehow elevating them. What happens when you elevate people and put them on a pedestal, you have these high expectations of them. And these expectations are things that can never be satisfied. So knowing you have this going forward, this should help you completely to know this about yourself. It took me a long, long time. And I hope you don't have to go through this as long as I had to understand that. Now, with that said, you have something exciting coming. And I'm excited about it. Can you tell I began the reading off like on 10? I'm excited for you. Actually, at the end of this month, the end of January, looky, kitty showed up. Ooh, you know how that is when Zoe blesses a reading. It's like, ooh, yeah. So I've got January 25th written down here somewhere. Yes, January 25th, 2020, something new, something exciting. So what's going to happen is there's this love thing. Venus is involved, and she's talking to Mars, and Mars is usually the opposite sex. So basically all you need to know is it's attraction. Mars is involved, meaning you're going to seek out, you're going to be a little bit more assertive, but in a more of a beautiful way, all right? You're going to seek out things that are unique, individuals that are unique. Yes, that's the camera. Don't go chewing on the wires. The combination of excitement and new and assertiveness and action, and also a dreamy tendency here. I want you to know that, a dreamy tendency. This is the perfect makeup, and there's also some other aspects, and I won't even talk about them because then it gets into an astrology reading, and I'm trying to pull myself away. I'm sorry, an astrology lesson, trying to like get myself away from doing that during readings. There is this combination where there's the desire factor on 10, where there's the excitement factor on 10, where an opportunity of some sort, an individual, okay, working with an individual in some way, in a one-on-one way, there's romance involved. There's excitement involved. It's new. There's a magnetic attraction. There's a physical attraction, all right? What you want to understand is that typically, if this is something new, right, like so if you're not in a relationship right now, if it's something new, understand that this is not permanent. And when I say that, it's because the Venus factor is floating over it. And so when Venus moves on, that's your desire for that new thing is going to wane. It's not going to be as strong. So all I'm saying is this is not a time to make commitments of any kind. So if you're in a relationship and if there's a question asked, and if it's like, okay, can you make a commitment? Do you want to commit? All I'm saying is wait it out a little bit, okay? Wait until Venus passes, all right? So you want to wait. Like I said, this was on the 25th of January. You want to wait 10 days after this, okay? Wait till Venus has completely passed over, 10 to 15 days. Let's say 15 days, all right? Wait till Venus has passed over and search your feelings, search your soul out before you commit to anything, before you give an answer. And there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I need time to think about some things, only because you really are a deep person when it comes to this kind of stuff. I told you to wait 15 days because the intensity of you seeking will be gone. However, Venus being very dreamy is still going to be there because Venus is still going to be in Pisces. Okay, Venus is going to be in Pisces for a long time. And what Pisces does is Pisces is the illusion. Pisces puts the glasses on us, the rose-colored glasses. Pisces is the dreamy love. All right, dreamy love. Talk to mom and dad, talk to grandma and grandpa, talk to aunts and uncles, talk to people you know who are married. Dreamy love only exists in Hollywood movies. It does not work in the everyday, mundane, get up, go to work, come home, cook, do the dishes, try to find relaxed time, try to find fun time, try to find solitude time. Like, it takes a lot more than that, okay? Now, I know you've got what it takes to have a good time and have fun because of all this optimism energy you have, all this fun energy you have. Having fun is so important to you. And to just understand the whole point of life is to experience, okay? Now, I don't think you're going to have a hard time with relating to that. Having Sagittarius in that 5th house is all about the seeker of romance, the seeker of relationships, the seeker. Now, there's this other thing you're going to need to know for later in life. There's a tendency to have strong mothering, strong nurturing, which is really beautiful, okay? And it can be considered cute and it's great for children. But what happens is in a committed one-on-one relationship down the road, you're going to find a time where it's going to come across, it's going to go from nurturing and loving to mothering. And you got to keep this phrase in your mind. My partner, the person I'm romantically involved with, they don't want a mother. They want a lover. Keep this in mind for you. And I only have to say that because there are strong tendencies to mother lovers. You're going to want to know this in the future. Okay, we got major cat action here. So now, let me move on to the June. I know I jumped, but this is important for you. June 5th. For all those that are listening, June 5th, you know what? I lied. Let me back up. I want to find out, when does Venus get out of Neptune for you? That was kind of where I was going with this in the beginning. I know February, yeah. All right, so what's going to happen is by February, it is an interesting time when we look at Valentine's Day, okay? I've had some other folks' chart that I look in. So everybody listening out there, thus, if you're still paying attention, if you're a Leo ascendant or a Leo sun or a Leo moon, okay, what you're going to need to know is that by February 14th, Venus pulls herself out of dreamy Pisces and she goes into the Aries mode. Okay, Aries is action. Aries is also the youngster. So it's a young love, which means, all right, which means very impulsive, not thinking and going after stuff that you might not have otherwise went after. Everybody out there needs to hear about this. Okay, for some individuals, Valentine's Day is not going to be, actually Valentine's Day is going to be like super romantic because women in general are going to be seeking, that's the best way to put it, seeking and probably rather assertive in ways they wouldn't normally have been. But also people remember after Valentine's Day is over, like a week after Valentine's Day, there's going to be disappointments. You won't be getting phone calls. You won't be getting text messages returned to you. What existed just for Valentine's Day. This Valentine's Day for 2020, it really looks like it's the ultimate hookup by sense of simply a booty call, honestly. So, maybe I use the wrong words when I say ultimate hookup, but it's really about, okay, it's Valentine's Day. Women want to be with somebody. I can score. Now, again, this isn't about male and female. This is simply about people in general, the way they are about, I'm watching the cats. They're like pinballing all around the house right now, which is great because they're over there, but they've got balls and they're flying. So this is the ultimate booty call this Valentine's Day. Let's just label it like that. As long as you're aware, because some people don't care and they're okay with this, but as long as you're aware that 10 days after that, you may not hear back from these individuals, whoever they are, whether they're a male or female, doesn't matter. All right, the energy just is the assertion to get together and be spontaneous and to have action with our bodies to be impulsive, meaning giving in to what you want, your desires, because that's what Venus in Aries is, all right? And for you specifically, for your chart that I'm reading right now, for you specifically, on the February 14th, this is in your 8th house. All right, so that means the 8th house is the house of Scorpio, baby. It's how we merge our bodies, how we merge our energy, how we merge our money, how we can merge, how we become more intimate. So I would think you'd want to know this in advance. I don't know where that leads you. You know, I mean, I could, but I don't have time for that. I have to give other people free readings, right? If you want me to go deeper, you know, we do affordable stuff, just comment below and we'll chat, we'll figure it out. But for right now, just understand this is the energy present. I would just want you to be aware. All right, now let's go to June, okay? Because I got to kind of wrap this one up. We're going to June 5th because it's an eclipse. For all of those people who are listening and for you, there are 6 eclipses in 2020. June 5th is the first one, June 21st is the second one, and July 5th is the third one. That means within a 4 or 5 week time period, we have 3 big eclipses, okay? The June 5th eclipse in particular is at 16 degrees Sagittarius. Now, 16 degrees Sagittarius, Sag has to do with what I'm learning, okay? This is a south node lunar eclipse, which means, hold on, I'm moving some stuff around now. I got to get back to June for you. It is a huge emotional ending, okay? It's an emotional ending. Now this, my friend, my dear friend, when I talked about your Pluto and your moon being together, this is in your 5th house. Your 5th house is about romance and dating. It's about children. It's about your creativity. It's about having a good time. It's also the house of where we take risks. Okay, that's the 5th house. Think about it. Dating is a risk, right? Okay, so this is going to be a very big emotional event for you. Again, this is at 16 degrees Sagittarius. This is June 5th, 2020. And it is all about, I've learned something, because it's in Sagittarius. It's what did I learn? So there's a learning and then there's a letting go. And remember, folks, when you let go, you grow. All right, this is important to hold on to because when we go through these changes, they're hard. They're gut-wrenching. We're crying. It's difficult. We feel like our life is going to end, right? We're just in a really horrible place. Change is a guarantee. This is what astrology has shown me. And this is what I've seen in everybody else's life and all their charts. It's a change that's coming, and it's going to bring better things because it's Sagittarius. It's attached to the seeker. It's Jupiter. It's Jupiter. Jupiter definitely usually is beneficial, okay? So it expands things. That's the other thing about Jupiter in Sagittarius, is that it expands things and makes them out worse than they really are. Because what happens is it's the exaggerator, all right? So something occurs, we can't believe it, we're so shook by it, but what we find out later on down the line is that we're happy that it occurred, whatever it was that occurred. Okay, it is emotional endings. You learned something and now you're letting it go. You're seeing the bigger picture because that's what Jupiter, that's what Sagittarius is all about. That's why it's the arrow that shoots up because it's always wanting to see more. And the higher it goes, the more it can see. That's why they call it the expansive energy. It's all about growth. It's about wisdom. Wisdom, okay? You can't forget the W. It's extremely important. Jupiter is wisdom. Sagittarius is wisdom, and you have it. So your Pluto and your moon together means you're going to be endowed with great wisdom, but it doesn't happen like that. Pluto moves very slow because it works very deeply. So it's going to take a long time. It's going to take years to get that wisdom. But your soul came to do that in this life, in matters of children, fun, romance, joy, creativity. So it looks as though you're going to be getting wisdom. You're going to see a bigger picture in regards to that whole dating thing. Okay, and who knows? Maybe it's the information coming through right now for you. that you then apply and you're like, holy crap, this is actually better now. I don't dread it, or I don't desire it and then at the same time hate it. Maybe that love-hate relationship changes. Usually there is a holding of some sort of an unconscious judgment, because that is also Sagittarian energy. There is opinions and judgments that we have. Many times we're not aware of them until something happens to challenge it. Also remember that some Sagittarian keywords for people listening is law, education, right? Higher learning, and it's global issues. Definitely global issues. So big emotional endings, all right? Now for you specifically, this is going to have a lot to do. I'm doing a little bit more digging here for you. This is going to have a lot to do with one-on-one relationships as well. It's going to have a lot to do with your friendship circle. And that's fascinating because for you, your friendship circle, sometimes that line, that division line, well, sometimes it gets erased, you know, and friends become lovers, lovers become friends, that whole thing. But over time, you're going to get clarity on how to better navigate those waters that tend to merge over sometimes, all right? And you're going to find out what is best for you. How do you move forward? How do you have deep transformational relationships without being the mothering, nurturing individual where it smothers people, okay? And at the same time, get what you need out of these relationships without having to constantly be on the dating scene in a way in which it gives you stress, all right? You're going to get some clarity. I'm not going to say that the clarity is going to be automatic, though, but there is a beginning. But before the beginning can come, this ending in June has to occur. All right. So with that, I'm going to end your reading. I hope this has helped. I hope you've gotten some insight. Leos, I'm out. Thank you.